Welcome friends to the newest edition of Seahawkers What If, the most unique Seahawks preview show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner. Coming out and find me on Twitter at Clinton Bon. And I'm joined by the one, the only, the great Brandan Shelton. Find him out on Twitter at Seahawkers Pod. And it could not be, it would not be, we could not traverse the Seahawks multiverse without the protector of the Seahawks multiverse, Mr. Phil Leidick. Gentlemen, the season was the gift that kept on giving at 6-3, but lately it's been a lot of coal in the old stocking, gents. Been a lot of coal in the old stocking. We got to go to Kansas City. It's going to be really freaking cold, really cold, right? Like 5 degrees. And that's Fahrenheit out there, really cold. And I just wonder if we can get back into the giving season. Now maybe Mr. Phil, your theme might be, 180 from that. However, as we get going, Brandan,
maybe not.
Yeah, well, that's okay. Maybe it's a little ESPN, right? So, Brandan, what are you ready to give? Brandan, what will you give so that our Seahawks can get? What are you willing to sacrifice so we can get a W, man?
Oh, is this? I thought that was Lent, that we had to worry about sacrificing things.
Well, we got to do it again because we're 7-7. So, how do we get back to over 500?
I didn't put any thought into this. I didn't realize that I had to.
And it shows.
Do I need to get a bucket of KFC and then put it at the feet of Joe Boo? And I'd be willing to do that.
Got it. No. And I very much appreciate that. Little Jake Taylor. There you go. One whole chicken. All right, Mr. Phil, we are going to get into this lovely game versus the Chiefs. The Chiefs are pretty good and all. However, it's not a team we watch a lot. We haven't played them in several years. So I would think that
it's hard not to watch them, though. The TVs like to put them on in front of our faces often.
That is true. You know what? I'll take that back in the sense that I see a lot of their highlights. I see a lot of their, I see a lot of Mahomes scrambling and doing the things with the no look and the behind the back and the whole thing already that they love to glorify. And I'd say actually with good reason. But I don't, really dive into the that's trench
true.
warfare.
He does do other things than just what's shown highlights.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
And the Chiefs do other things. So I'd love to know, what did you see on previously with the protector when you went back and watched these Texans that almost had it, but the Chiefs pull it out once again. So as we look back, what should we know about these Kansas City Chiefs, man?
Yeah, they've been squeaking through the last couple of weeks with the Broncos barely getting by, and then the Texans. I saw that was an overtime score, and I thought when I watched it that it was going to be super close, as far as the two teams. But I think I discovered something else when I watched it, and as I go through this previously with Protector, get a sense of it. The overall team is obviously offensive based. Big surprise there, right? Now, everybody listening, they're here for the big news. DVOA, they're sixth, but it's 24th in defense and first by a long shot in offense. So everything about their high grading deals with their offense. When we talk about their offense, they are especially a passing offense, which is another not big surprise. They're 14th by DVOA when they run the ball, first in passing. Kelce, we could say he's inevitable pretty much in all the games. If you have him on your fantasy team, you love him. When you face him, you don't like to. He's always going to get his. Mahomes does pass super quick to pretty much anyone. I think he spots where he finds an opening, and he's already decided when he gets it to throw it. Otherwise, he might make something up after that. But so often it's like he's got the ball and it's going to another guy. You need to learn his name. Their pass pro got smoked once against a blitz, and then the other times they gave up a little bit of pressure on blitzes and pressure, but Mahomes find a way to complete. Like when a team blitzed, he diagnosed it by the time that guy was at him, and he found somebody. Even though he'd take a hit, he completed it. They do give up very few sacks. My understanding is they give up the fourth fewest. That's probably more Mahomes than really what it looked like from their outside of their line. Pacheco's a good runner, but he has 4 fumbles. Pacheco, tomato, right?
Yep.
Looks like a tomato with the jersey on, right? But Checo, good runner, 4 fumbles. He had 1 in this one. That was a big factor. He could also catch, but McKinnon is the guy you got to worry about in the passing game, especially. The passing game is super creative. I know, another big surprise. Tons of yak, like guys getting hit on time, different creative plays, and the guys go running. Juju seems available often to always. He's got a lot of big body energy. Like it's not that he's open, he's available, right? Like a guy's with him and he just knows how to body around and get it. Creed is like really, really good. You know, that draft miss has created
we don't want to talk about him.
We've created our
Move
own
on.
prison from Creed, right? He's with arms wide open. We'd like to have Creed Humphrey, but
we're talking Creed, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. But Mahomes ran into. Look at this photograph.
I realize
that's not Creed. I think.
I know that's the joke.
He stole the voice. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Okay. Mahomes at the end of the game, he ran into field goal range, but McKinnon lost yardage on a run, then lost yardage on a screenplay, and then they had to miss a fairly long kick, or they already would have won in regulation. Mahomes is in the middle of 20 completions in a row right now, so we get to enjoy that when he comes in.
Oh, that's horrible.
In a row?
Yeah, he's still at 20 in a row as of right now. They had 35 first downs. The offense was doing a lot. They just didn't happen to win, and it was because of a couple fumbles and some penalties. Their special teams, 18th by DVOA. Their punter is a killer. He's number 1 in net yards, just blasts it, but they have other issues. Defense, let's talk about them for a second. Again, 24th by DVOA. They're really bad against the pass. 25th, and that's not just on stats and yards. They are terrible when it comes to penalties in the passing game. They're 18th against the run. They look decent against the run at times, but that could be the Texans just aren't good at running.
They've got a good rookie back, though.
He's out, though. Yeah, Damian Pierce was on the IR.
Pierce out too?
Jeez. Yeah, he's been out the last 2 weeks. So they trotted out last week Royce Freeman, I know, and Rex Burkhead. Not really, right? Pierce was playing well, but no, they lost their dog.
The Texans got him on some of these quick swing passes to the boundary on the outside.
Oh, we don't do those, so it doesn't.
Perfect.
Move on.
Next,
the Chiefs. We got comments on a lot of these now that we know our team well. They looked fast. The defense looked fast and fairly assignment sound. So that's a part of discipline, right? But even though they have Chris Jones and Frank Clark, they seem to get out physical regularly. Like Chris Jones is an awesome player. We'd love to have him, but I noticed one player was not enough to make them look physical. They got shoved around and they had many, many foolish penalties. Clark had a really dumb offsides on a failed 3rd and short that kept the drive going. And then number 22, he gives up a PI right afterwards, and he has other flags that were or were not taken. 2 more guys gave up an illegal contact that negated a sack. And so they just kind of marched him down the field to give him a chance to push short overtime. They let receivers get open when Pass Pro held up against it. Now, Pass Pro didn't hold their Pass Pro seemed pretty good, but if you held up, guys could get open, like all kinds of guys that you hadn't heard of. In overtime, it was a forced fumble by Frank Clark that ended things, and then they had just threw a little run to McKinnon there, and it was over. If it were not for a couple fumbles, some bad kicking by the Chiefs, and field goal and extra point, the Chiefs, I feel like they would have easily handled this in regulation time. They got their 7th consecutive division title last week against the Texans. They did not look equal to the Texans. They looked like they mistaked the Texans into a match. That's what I had. I don't know if you guys watched it.
No, I didn't. I did not watch it. But but Brandon, we talked about we kind of feel like we need the perfect game to beat Kansas City in Kansas City, and it seems like the Texans almost had that with the mistakes that Phil you're talking about from the the Chiefs that kind of kept him in it in the first place.
2-0 on turnovers kind of helps you.
Oh, absolutely. The biggest thing for me that I see this year is that without Tyreek Hill, they're still really good on offense, and yet they it seems it is what it is. It's the Kelce show. And like you said, big bodies and swing passes and things to the edge, which frankly has me worried because
someone said they might get Mecole Hardman back this week, and that could be a problem. That they're already a good enough offense without that character.
Yeah, another dude. But anything, Brandon, you got anything before we dive into the what ifs?
Let's dive in.
Dive in. All right, gentlemen, here we go.
Yes.
Tis the season. I don't know. I swear Clinton didn't see my material, but he somehow managed to guess it. We could use some gifts. It's the season for giving. We could use some gifts from the Chiefs this week. Mm-hmm. We'd also appreciate if our beloved Hawks would gift us with an all-around game this Saturday. The tree, the presents, our family's smiles, everything will sparkle a little bit brighter this Christmas if we can receive the gift of winning this Saturday. I know my tree will shine more if the Seahawks win on Saturday. As we ask, here we go. What if gifts are open this weekend? What if some gifts are open this weekend? We have 3 categories: gift wrapped, re-gift, and gift that keeps on giving. And so we're going to start off with this even episode. Clinton gets to go first.
Sweet.
Gift wrapped. Clinton, what if the Hawks can finally improve at wrapping up the ball carrier?
Yeah.
With the Chiefs being an excellent yak team, who are you most worried about wrapping up for Christmas? We're going to wrap up some Chiefs for Christmas. Which particular players? I know you said you haven't watched a lot of Chiefs, but does some guys jump out that we need to get these guys wrapped up? Maybe you go with a position if you don't want to go with the name. I'll leave it to you.
No, I've got, so yeah, no, when you first said it, I was like, at first I thought you meant like, who's got to tackle better? I'm like, oh, I was like, hey, good thing it's Christmas. That's a long list.
Pick a number.
Yeah. Who needs to tackle better? One of the guys is right behind me right there, right? He's got to tackle better. With that, I think it's McKinnon. That could be, and because McKinnon is the third down back, but they'll also use him on, they'll bring him. Pacheco's getting more of the run right now. That's fine. McKinnon's getting those very timely swing passes open in the flats. And where we are ineffectual is like, I watch us, and it's difficult for Seahawks for years to like do the swing passes and little checkdowns and screens with momentum, like where they're catching it in stride and almost at full speed. Then you watch like the Bills and you watch the Chiefs, and they do it all the time. Like they do it all the time where they're catching it with like, and by the time they're taking their second step, they're catching it with one and they're gone. They're at full speed. Harder to catch an NFL guy when they're at full speed. So for me, I look at McKinnon's last couple of weeks. I think he had like 10 receptions last week. I think he had a boatload the week before as well. He's, to me, the dude. There's the obvious Godzilla in the room we haven't talked about yet. But the other dude that's going to like move the chain and frustrate the crap out of us, I think is McKinnon. And it's predictable, unfortunately, but we're going to be sitting there being like, why don't we cover him? Why don't we spy him? Why don't we just keep Bryant down the box, whatever it might be, kneel down the box? But I can say with a lot of premonition that I think he's going to give us some fits. So he's the dude I'm worried about.
He wears number 1. He catches a lot of passes for sure. How about you, Brandon? Who do the Seahawks need to wrap up and gift us this Saturday?
I would say Patrick Mahomes, but then we would have to get pressure on the quarterback to be able to have that opportunity, right? And I'm a little bit pessimistic about that opportunity, especially with Mahomes on the roster. So I will go with the easy answer that Clinton left on the board. It's Travis Kelce, the tight end. He's the guy that you have to worry about because he's Mahomes' favorite target. And I don't know if this team has been all that great against tight ends. We certainly didn't stop George Kittle.
We're terrible against tight ends. We're god awful against tight ends. So it's
well, when we play the elite tight ends, I just, as far as your average tight ends, do we generally get beat by, your average dudes? And Kelce's not an average dude. So
no, he's an awesome player. He's one of the best players in football. He's got 1,149 yards, and he does yak too. So it's not like he just catches and goes down like some tight ends. He'll give you the stiff arm, little move. Yeah, I'd be happy to see him tackled right away on his catches. We're not going to keep him from getting catches, but put everybody on him on third down.
And when you look across the board at their receiving crew, Smith-Schuster, I suppose, is the one guy that you're most concerned about. But the favorite target's Travis Kelce. That's the guy.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Next question under gift wrapped, Brandon. Here we go. What if the Chiefs D-backs can gift wrap some opportunities for Geno in this game? Who other than DK do you expect to shine in this game without our offensive captain? Our offensive captain will at least miss a game or two. DK, we got to hope will shine, but can you pick out like who's going to fill in for our offensive captain? There's going to be some openings, Brandon. Who do you got?
Yeah, I think the guy that I'm most looking forward to seeing a big day from, and I could go deeper down the depth chart, but I really think it's that chemistry that we've seen building between Geno Smith and Marquise Goodwin, that it's that connection that we're going to have to count on for a big day offensively. And I think they could do it. You know, one of the things that about this Chiefs team that they defensively, they're giving up a pretty good clip in terms of completion percentage to opposing defenses. So they're actually worse than the Seahawks defense at giving up completion percentage. Red zone scoring, which we've seen that Marquise Goodwin in the red zone has been one of the favorite targets by Geno. So I think that might be that kind of connection that I really want to see in this game.
Yeah, and as bad as they are at stats, if you don't look at their penalties, they're actually even worse, their defensive backs, because they get beat all the time and then they're grabbing and just trying to haul people so they don't get cooked. Yeah, I like the Goodwin idea. Maybe that was your option. You have somewhere else to go, Clinton, a player for us that could shine.
I think, without Lockett, it's going to be interesting. And I'm hesitant to go over to DK, like our monster, right? In the sense that a little easier.
Because the question was other than DK.
Right. Well, that's
a good reason.
That's why I'm hesitant. So I'm so hesitant. And I think it's going to be a little bit more easy for the Chiefs to double him without Lockett on the field. I think this is going to be, we talked about it the other day, that I've got this feeling that Will Dissly might be, might come back in the room here. It's kind of been the Noah Fant offense for the last several weeks. He's really been the dude. And whether it's Fant or it's Dissly, looking at some of the stats that the Chiefs have there, they're okay against tight ends. They don't get like crazy burnt by them. So
the Texans
did
pretty decent with the tight ends.
Yeah, the Texans got 2 touchdowns versus them. They've given up 7 touchdowns on the year, which is not outrageous against tight ends. No. But Russ when in that game before the concussion with Dulcich, I think it was Dulcich was playing pretty well. And they have that other dude, I forget his name too. So Russ took yes, Tomlinson. Yeah, I think it is. It's a sin. So Russ took advantage of him. And so the last 2 games, between the Broncos and Texans, which are not exactly elite offenses, they were able to, and that's with hurt wide receivers. The Texans wide receiver core is decimated also, right? Yep. So the Broncos wide receiving core was really banged up. So you got banged up wide receiving cores, and yet they were still able to leverage and get good production out of the tight ends. We're not nearly in the shape that those 2 teams are tight end wise, even without Lockett. So I'll lean on the tight ends. I'm sensing a Dissly touchdown, but if it's Fant, so be it. That's where I think we can get some exploitation going.
Good. Yeah, their defense in the passing game almost entirely relies on pass rush. They have little hope if you can.
But they don't have that many sacks.
Yeah,
I mean, Chris Jones does, but as a team, I think they have 27
think about
sacks.
Who we have stopping Chris Jones this week.
Chris Jones is going to have 6 sacks against.
That's no bueno.
We got Blythe. He's going to shut down Mr. Jones. I know Brandon's confident.
This is pretty nuts though, right? The Chiefs only have 23 sacks. And if you think about them as a defense,
because their DBs are so bad.
I mean, we have 37, just to kind of put that in perspective. And we don't think of our front seven as some elite unit. That we have 14 more sacks than the Chiefs. That's sizable. Pretty crazy.
No. Okay. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
That's nuts. No, I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do in the offense. Of course, the cold ball might be the best thing for the Chiefs on defense, but then maybe that's the best thing for us on defense.
We shall see. Yeah.
The frozen ball.
You know what? Okay, what helps in December, Mr. Phil? Running the darn ball. Running the ball effectively helps in the goal.
We've got a running back. We'll see if we can do it. See if we can do it. Next category, Mr. Clinton. Re-gift.
I'm good at that.
Okay. Here's this question might take a second to think about, so I'll read it slowly.
Oh boy.
What if Shane can adapt some plays that have given us some problems? Are there any plays from our losing stretch, and we've had one here, 4 out of 5, right? The losing stretch that you like to see us implement and give back to the Chiefs? Here we received this little gift, and there's been some plays that we'd like to see our offense include. At least maybe some style if you can't think of a play, or maybe we throw this question out because you hate it so much. But,
No, I'm thinking here. I'm just thinking the last couple of games, and it's funny that the one I'm going to go to is the one we actually won, which was versus the Rams.
Oh, okay.
The Rams, and it's almost like too close for comfort because they're giving it to us with Tutu Atwell all of a sudden, and he's running successful, not end arounds, but the thing where you come across the bow.
Yeah, the
there.
jet sweep.
Jet sweeps and just thinks to the flat to Tutu Atwell as well. So we haven't really run a lot of jet sweeps recently. D. Eskridge went out, and a lot of that cross motion stuff. It's been.
Did we try one with Marquise last week? Do you guys remember? Did we try one with Marquise?
I don't. We may have not. I think we might have, but not much has worked recently. Well, especially against the Niners. With that, the under center. So because we didn't do a lot of that versus the Niners at all. We were in shotgun a lot, and I think that it was. I understand why they want to be in shotgun versus the Niners. I also think it hurt our run game when you're not under center. So I want to go back into more McVay, which is to say Shane roots. Get under center and let's get a lot of motion going again. Let's break it up with some jet sweeps, but really see Geno under center like the majority of this game, because the Chiefs D line is not the Niners. So don't treat them that way. That would be the way I think we've seen it recently. The Rams almost beat us with all that misdirection stuff, but that should be our playbook at this point. So let's give it to the Chiefs the way that the Rams kind of gave it to us for a bit.
Yeah. I don't know if you, Brandon, and other Hawk fans, I feel like our offense has been just a little bit stale. It'd be kind of nice to grab a few things we've seen. Cause I know when I coach, if my team starts to get a little stale in their attack, I'll try to bring some things that really worked against us. It's different in soccer, but you bring a few things that really worked against us and then try to hit the training ground with that, implement a few things and just kind of liven up liven up the table a little bit with some options. Have you seen some plays that have worked well against us that you'd like to see Shane maybe grab and regift?
Well, I think the one play that we're expecting from the Chiefs is also a way that I feel like we could attack the Chiefs defense, because you talked about it already, Clinton, those little swing passes out to the running back with McKinnon. I think with having, especially if you have Derek Young being on the field opposite DK Metcalf, you have two guys on the outside with a ton of speed.
Yep.
And then you got Goodwin playing in the slot, potentially also a lot of speed. I think having that speed on the field and, some weakness at corner, if they're going to be playing back with that expectation that, because they're worried, they're going to be concerned about the potential of getting beat deep, especially with the speed that Derek Young has as a gunner. I mean, we see him down on multiple special teams plays, making tackles. We know that he has the speed. I don't know if he has the hands, which is why we haven't seen a whole lot of him on the field, but
he almost got a huge catch.
Almost
back because of penalty. Yeah.
That was nice.
But I think that gives the opportunity for a guy like Ken Walker to take that little swing pass out of the backfield. And that way he's catching that pass with some steam and able to start putting some moves on guys. So I like the idea of those swing passes out of the backfield because they'll be concerned about the speed on the outside from the receivers.
Good call. I thought I'd bring that up because the Chiefs, they're a better football team overall than us, obviously, because their offense is tops, but their defense is really similar. So I was thinking some things that worked against us, we've been getting out physical. Why can't we take that and out physical our opponent and shove that? So,
yeah.
Good answer. Taste of their own medicine.
Yes. Yes.
It would be nice if we could do that super cool play where Purdy fakes left, then fakes right, and then George Kittle is wide open. That'd be cool too.
George Kittle is what? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't trust our interior offensive line enough to run
Chris
that play.
Jones.
No.
Yeah,
Well, the
hear
reason
you.
it worked is we were both trying to screen sniff, right? For both sides. We were looking for this. So that's the reason there wasn't pass rush. They were trying to, he's gonna fake us, and then he's gonna do a little screen. So nobody pressured on that play. That was the beauty of it, that everybody was looking for the screen or the swing pass, so that there wasn't any pressure.
It was nicely designed. Hat
Oh,
tip, hate to say it, but it was good.
yeah. Regifting, Brandon. What if our D can get back to some of what worked pre-Germany? We all know the Seahawks went to Germany and they left any success in the defense there. I don't know what they traded it for, but what if we can get back to some of that? What specifically should our team try to put back under the tree that's shown earlier in the season? If you're like, we got 3 games left, let's try to shore up some things that we lost in Germany. What would you like to see here in these next few games?
I think just stopping those easy runs in the middle of the defense, because I feel like Kansas City is going to make themselves one-dimensional anyway. But if they show that early, that if Casey's testing the run up the middle early just to see if they can get away with it, and we're not shutting it down, it would make me awfully concerned about our chances. Now, again, if you can make them one-dimensional, and at least it gives our pass rush an advantage in the sense that they know it's going to be a pass play, most likely, so they can go after the quarterback and hopefully get some kind of pressure. I know Mahomes is really good at finding those little outlets. You know, the Andy Reid offense always has those options available to him. So it's still going to be difficult to stop.
Yeah.
But I think just making them go toward their tendency of wanting to be one-dimensional is the best option for the Seahawks.
So this regifting, Clinton, is our coaching staff getting our players to regift what they gave us earlier in the season and then took back from us in Germany. Is there some things you'd like to see us get back to and put back under the tree here in this final section of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I will. It's hard to deviate from what Brandan said, in the sense that you also know, like, you can't be like, oh, we got to go blitz heavy. We're not doing that. We don't blitz that much, and we're not doing it versus Mahomes. You know,
No,
it's like,
it'll kill us.
So we're not going to do that, right? So we only blitzed 7.1% last time, which was twice for drop back passes. So
for a rookie quarterback in his second game.
Yeah, exactly.
Second start.
So I don't expect us to go blitz.
But if we can hold the run, then we can just kind of stomp the run on the way to the quarterback, right? That's what KJ said that the Niners were doing. They were just pass rushing, and then if it happened to be a run, they would go ahead and tackle. But every play they were pretty much calling pass rush. But you got to be able to stop the run before you can do that.
Yeah, so that's why I'm just kind of anchoring around that answer. The piece of it's that, now Monet is what he's out, right? He's
done for the year.
He's done for the year. Great. So I know he got banged up, and I knew it was pretty severe. Where are we with Woods? Is Woods back?
He's got a chance, right?
Like, we need him,
Yeah, so I think it was because of the short week that it was going to be a real tough time for him to get on the field.
Okay. I mean, so like to get a little more specific about it is, before the German game, Al Woods was having like a really big start to the season, right? Just eating dudes inside there. And so it is about the run D, and then with a bit more specificity, can we get Al Woods back to like pre-Germany Al Woods, where he was just blowing dudes up, like he was like Vince Wilfork style, like difference maker with amazing consistency for a 35-year-old. That would be at least the catalyst that would give us the shot to have good run D, to make them one-dimensional, to then go play basically Russian roulette with Mahomes.
Well, and to your point too, Clinton, I think with Al Woods being on the field, whether or not he gives you any kind of pass rush presence or not, the guy generally eats up to offensive linemen.
Yeah.
He's not a guy that could easily be blocked one-on-one. And so when you take him off the field, you're left with guys that, it's a little bit easier to block Quentin Jefferson one-on-one, or Miles Adams, or even Poona Ford one-on-one. It's easier than big Captain Old Thigh Arms Al Woods.
It's a great point, because remember when Coach Pete was just raving about how awesome Jordan Brooks was playing? It was back when Al was dominating, right? Like he was on the radio just going nuts about how Jordan is seeing everything. He's able to flow to the ball. And he was so stoked about the defense at that time. But really, I think you guys have nailed it. Like when Al was dominating and causing issues, that allowed Jordan to have so much freedom knowing he could kind of pick his places. So I bet you that's a big factor.
Yeah, let's see. He's a big man. So hopefully he's back and healthy. It will be a big difference.
Okay, final category, the gift that keeps on giving. I think, isn't that what cousin Eddie Randy Quaid said to Clark?
Correct. Jelly the
Clark,
month.
that's the
Jelly of the
gift
month.
that keeps giving all year long.
That is, Edward. That is indeed. That's it.
And Ken Walker be our jelly of the month.
There we go. So the gift that keeps on giving, question 1 to Clinton. What if there's one thing we can do over and over against this Chiefs team? Is there any area that you think we can have repetitive success within this matchup, Clinton?
Yes. You said it earlier, and it was a great little breadcrumb to lead to this question. What if Geno can go like 75% completion percentage? He's, he was smoking hot for a while, like challenging Drew Brees for the all-time percentages. And it's ticked down a little bit. Again, played some tougher teams. That's going to do it. And also in his own words, he's been forcing the ball a bit more and trying a few more things. All right. When we use the middle of the field versus the 49ers, and we use DK's big body and we were just on time with that stuff. The high percentage stuff was like the only thing that worked versus the 49ers. That's, I think, because of the caliber of that defense. This defense is not like them. However, we could keep winning that way. So, and it's gonna be freezing, and it's gonna be like, not super windy, but not dead air. So it's gonna be, that is a recipe for throw the ball short. Do the control game. And if you can't run the ball, then throw on first down within 5 yards and get those 3, 4, 5, 6, yard completions on first down so that you're moving the chain on second and third down. That is a recipe to have long drives, time of possession. And Geno, if we're sitting there late third quarter, you're like, oh, wow, Geno's like 74% completion this game, 76% completion. I can guarantee you we are well within striking distance of winning that game. So that's the nugget.
Make them tackle our big targets over and over and over. DK, Uncle Will, Noah,
like high percentage shots. Why not?
Okay. How about you, Brandon? Some repetitive success.
The place where I want to see the most repetitive success is from the offense in the red zone, because this Kansas City offense.
Well, I would love that that means lots of touchdowns. So I really like that.
That's exactly where I'm going. And
I like that too.
To keep up with this Chiefs offense, that's what it's going to take. They're 66% on offense inside the red zone. And on the other side of the token, though, for the Kansas City defense, they're near 70% at what they give up inside the red zone. So that's kind of good news, I think, for the Seahawks offense. But they haven't. It's slightly over 50 for the Seahawks in the red zone. So I think they have the capability to improve. They need to show it. They've played a couple tough defensive teams here lately, but this is the team to do it against, and they got to count on it if they're going to win this game.
Very good. Repetitive success in the red zone, repetitive success in the passing game. Okay, this is kind of similar to a question I already asked, and I see that, but where we have some hope here, I think, for the rest of the season. This is a tough team to do it against, but we have other teams coming up, and so keep that in mind. The gift that keeps on giving. What if our defense can establish one thing? I'm not necessarily from regifting, but one thing that it can keep giving us throughout the rest of the season. What is that one thing? And here's how I'm framing it different. What does that one thing need to be, and why? If we've got a crack at the playoffs of doing anything this year, is there something that we have to establish, Brandon? And is it possible?
Oh, throughout the season, something
Just
that
these
they
last-
have to
There's
establish.
something we have to establish. We've got to get this established.
Be a physical team, because once you get into the playoffs, that's all you're going to face is physical teams. And I think this would be a good start, being physical against this Chiefs team, against this Chiefs offense. And then you know that Salah's going to have that Jets team playing physical.
Yeah.
So you're really going to need that down the stretch. And then the Rams generally play physical as a division rival. So match the other team's physicality throughout this rest of the season.
I love that. Physicality. Let's establish it. Let's get it started. How about you, Clinton? One thing we got to establish if we're going to have any hope of making a difference this year.
I like it. I'm going to pair physicality with a sprinkle more of defensive aggressiveness. And I realized, like, you said, hey, the rest of the year. When can we be aggressive? We could be aggressive when we get a team into 3rd and 6 and longer. Now there's things you got to do to get 3rd and 6, and that doesn't always happen. But the last game when we blitzed twice, one of the times we saw Quandre Diggs come in from a safety blitz, get Purdy right in the in the ribs almost, and he was wobbly with it. I get that you can't do that all day with Mahomes. We can dial it up a little bit more aggressive when we get into obvious passing down situations. Dial up the blitzes. Don't be afraid of it. Or dial up some blitzes on 1st down, and like the Niners did, in the sense that if they run the ball, then just tackle. It's okay. You could blitz on 1st down and just make a tackle. It doesn't have to go for 80 freaking yards when you blitz. So a little bit more aggressiveness would be nice. And I think it's something that we can, because the Jets are not a great offense.
Yeah.
Even
this
with
is a tough coach. This is a really tough coach to be aggressive on, because he will jujitsu that against
agree.
you.
I agree but that's why I'm leaning into the last 2 weeks besides this one. But with that, Reed and that team and Mahomes, tough defense to blitz against. I'm not saying do it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
What I am saying is they're not going to expect it like nearly at all. We barely do it. So maybe just a little bit of that, switching to southpaw when they don't expect it, and just a blitz off the corner that they're not, whether it's Bryant, whether it's Neal, whether it's Diggs, once or twice a game. And hey, a little wish. Can we get our hands on a ball? Can we get some tipped balls at the line?
No kidding. This team will fumble, but we haven't been causing them lately. I don't know where Kobe's been.
Yeah, so that's the hope, Mr. Phil, is that we can be a pair Brandan's physicalness and physicality with a little bit more aggressiveness that pairs with it, and we get a little of that swagger back, because right now this defense don't have a lot of swagger.
Yeah. And part of aggressive is trying to get turnovers, but sometimes you can end up looking dumb. Like I thought against the Niners, a few times we were trying so hard to get the ball away that we ended up looking dumb and letting people keep going. But maybe did you notice
like
that?
Wait until a guy is wrapped up and being tackled before you try and strip the ball.
If you're the first guy by yourself, let's not try for the ball there. You're the guy that needs to slow him down. Yeah, I like that too. All right, that's it. That's what I got for questions. So we get to prediction time. Prediction time, men. Last week, Clinton correctly predicted a Hawks loss.
Wow, congratulations, Clinton.
And we all wish,
great.
That you wouldn't lock up your now 7-3 lead. I was really pulling for Brandan there to make our show more interesting, and also our team we could have celebrated. It was just a big loss for you to win, Clinton. I want you to know that your win was at everyone's expense. But Brandon's wish came true. Myers was perfect. Good job, Brandan.
Congrats, Brandon.
The prize you always wanted.
I did it.
Okay.
So I win.
And you won.
I beat Clinton because he's an a-hole and picked against his team.
You won the one that I
win because I got my wish.
Yeah, very good. Okay. Clinton, you have to predict first. Let's go with your wish and your score prediction over there in Kansas City, Missouri.
All right. So in the cold, Christmas Eve. I'm fired up for it.
It's beginning to look a lot like
Yes,
Christmas.
yes. It's gonna, maybe some snowflakes. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be beautiful. So very, very excited for this game. I think we're gonna win. So and this
Really?
is, I think we're gonna win this
Careful.
game. It's
Careful.
spicy, careful. And I've got a super, super, super tight game here. 27-26. Somewhere along the line, they go, the Chiefs do a Chiefs thing and go for a 2-pointer when they don't have to, and it comes back to bite them in some way, or there's a missed extra point because it's 5 degrees out. 27-26 Seahawks. We get the dub. The wish, I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go with Kenneth Walker III, 120 all-purpose yards. Figures it out, 120 all-purpose. I think that's, it's not bombastic, but that sure would be a real nice day if he's sitting there at like 75 and 50 or something like that on a couple of 4 or 5 receptions on swing passes. That would be super nice. So
I love it.
That's my wish. I think we're gonna win this game. I just got a feeling.
Very good. I like that. So maybe we can get some kind of, since you picked against, now we hope that your wish goes well. Every time one of you have picked against the Hawks, that's been bad because you've been right. So I'm hoping that Brandon doesn't keep this going.
So I have to pick the Seahawks to win this game 35-28. They win by a full touchdown. How about that?
That's nice job, Brandon.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, everybody.
So it is written. So just 5 touchdowns to 4 touchdowns. No
5 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns. Yeah. Well, technically they end up having to kick 2 field goals, but then they get back with a 2-point conversion. Gotcha. And so it ends up equaling out to 28. So that you get some of the red zone stops in by our defense. So we're really hyped up about that. They give up the 2-point conversion that kind of, when we're cursing probably, I don't know, Kobe Bryant, because that's the guy that you would target on a 2-point conversion.
I don't know. It's going to be a shovel pass to Kelce. So I'm not sure.
That's right. You can't ever stop that play.
But that's the play. So
somehow the Broncos were able to override the curse by benching Russell and just annoy us by getting a win. Can we override this losing streak by playing like one of the hardest teams we played on the road and
in the cold,
all the reasons, and come through? I hope you guys are right. I'm glad I'm not doing a prediction for this game.
Okay. And I'm going to go super deep on my what if Super Hawk. Derek Young, an average of 20 or more yards per catch.
Okay.
20 plus yards per catch by Derek Young.
I love how that could be catch.
It could be one catch for 22 yards.
I love it though. I love the and you know what? We'll celebrate the entire collection, whatever he's able to haul in, right? That's great.
Yeah. And all you Flockers, Seahawkers, you can go on our Discord and you can put in your wish. And if you're right, which sometimes happens, wasn't right for anybody last week. If you're right, we'll read it on the next show. If we have a next show, but we're planning to. Yeah, it's a Christmas break, but
I'm going to guesstimate. It's not my official prediction because it's 20 plus yards for on average. But I'm going to say 3 catches, 64 yards for Derek.
Really? 64.
Let's go. Let's go, Derek.
We are dialing it in.
Coming out party.
Well, let's keep this week going good. Messi, he won the World Cup. That was great. It'd be even more awesome. As much as I was excited for Messi, it'd be even more awesome if the Seahawks could go to the place I always dreaded as a child when the Seahawks went to stupid Arrowhead and just knew we were going to lose. But there was that one time.
That one time they did it.
Craig and Scansey pulled it out at the last second at the end of the game. This could save our season in this improbable game against the Chiefs. Gentlemen, what if we say go Hawks?
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Hawks.